right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Battlehawk Fever.
This is the greatest thing in the world for St. Louis, is to bring all these fans back to the Dome and fill the Dome up.
Highlights of the first professional football game St. Louis has seen in nearly 20 years.
Cooler overnight, low temperatures for the next couple of nights. Then the heat returns midweek. I'll tell you how long it will last.
But first, on Wear Orange weekend dedicated to nonviolence, it was another violent weekend.
What is it going to take for America to wake up?
So what now? How local leaders and activists are saying communities should move forward. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. A shooting at Kenneman Park Friday night left 1 dead and 4 injured. And this just in, St. Louis County Police have identified the deceased victim as a 28-year-old man named Terrence Lambert. That incident was one of several shootings over a weekend when activists were pushing for peace. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is in studio with more. Laura?
Mike, this weekend was Wear Orange weekend, where groups like Moms Demand Action asked people to wear orange to raise awareness of the efforts to end gun violence, yet shots rang out at least half a dozen times. This weekend, people across the country wore orange for a future free from gun violence.
Today, we honor the more than 120 individuals whose lives are cut short, the more than 200 individuals who are injured, and the countless others who are traumatized in this country every day by gun violence.
But after a violent weekend, activists still say there's a long way to go.
We have to have hope that one day when you Google St. Louis, violence will not be the first thing that comes up. We have to have hope that there is a future where gun violence is not the leading cause of death for youth in the United States.
In St. Louis City and County this weekend, at least 9 people were shot in 6 separate shootings. 2 of those people were killed. The violence was on the streets and even a local park.
What is heartening that it happened near our playground area at the park. It's a beautiful park. It's Kenneman Park. It's a beautiful park. And for this to happen, you know, I overheard a couple of people saying they were ducking.
St. Louis County Police are still investigating what happened Friday night at Kenneman Park in Jennings, where 5 people were shot.
And it's a tragic incident, and that's really what matters, that, you know, the tragic incident happened, and something needs to be done about it.
One of them, 28-year-old Terrence Lambert from St. Louis, was killed. Police say at this point they don't believe this was a random act of violence.
It's very sad at the end of the day that a lot of stuff happens, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's something we can't control, but how long will it take for us to really stop it is like, I don't think it'll ever happen, but it's just real sad to me how, like, our young people is getting taken away from stuff like this. So.
If you have any additional information, call St. Louis County Police or remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-866-371-TIPS. Mike.
And earlier today, a local church asked people to be part of this movement to end ongoing violence. Drawings, poems, essays, and signs are on display at Webster Grove's Presbyterian Church ahead of a rally for peace there. Many there called surges of gun violence a public health issue, and organizers also wanted to bring attention to those who died accidentally from gun violence, including children.
We need to do something about it to make sure that we've got good, common sense gun laws. You know, we don't want to take people's guns away, but we want everybody to be able to be safe. And I think everybody can agree with that. You know, you want your child and your family to be safe.
The National Wear Orange Weekend movement has been around since 2013, since the death of a Chicago girl due to gun violence. A man is in custody tonight after a North St. Louis shooting that targeted police. It happened last night on Palm and Knapp Streets. According to police, that's where Trayon Young started firing at them. Some shots hit the windshield of the police car, but no officers were hurt. Police tell us those officers did not fire back. Young was taken into custody and a gun was recovered from the scene. So he's now facing charges for assault, armed criminal action, and illegally having a gun. Now to a live look downtown, where in just a few hours, we'll be seeing one of our last cool days. Then it gets hot. Our Jim Castillo joins us in studio for our Weather First forecast.
Yes, and when that 90-degree weather comes, Mike, on Wednesday, it stays with us for a very long time. Much more of that coming up. But it's a really good night. It's clear, so if you want to get outside and check out the stars, well, it's a good night for it. And we'll talk about a constellation you can see in the sky coming up right before main weather in just a few minutes. 72 degrees right now, and it's going to be a fantastic night. You know, very nice humidity level, so it's pleasant. 50s outside of the city, but 60 in the city, and a light northwest wind. But remember that stormy night we had last night, especially south, and see the red there? So in southwest Missouri, we had 3 to 7 inches of rain, and even portions of Phelps County, Crawford County, and into Washington County, Reynolds and Iron County, we not only had some damage to trees due to the high wind, but also 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. And of course, here is a look at Jean's tree damage, and this was in Phelps County. So a little bit more on the heat coming our way and dry weather in just a few minutes.
Not since the days of Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and Isaac Cruz have we seen playoff football in St. Louis, but tonight it was back. The St. Louis Battlehawks hosted the San Antonio Brahmas in the XFL Conference Championship game. Our Annie Krall was on the sidelines watching it all. She joins us now live from the Dome after talking with fans about the highs and unfortunately lows of this tumultuous game. Annie.
Mike, this was a tough one. For the first time, the Battlehawks have lost at home this season, 15-25. They struggled through the first half, scoring only 3 points, while San Antonio was hot from the start, getting some massive runs and scoring 13 points in that same amount of time. It is a very quiet, somber feeling on this field right now as players and families all talk to each other after all of that excitement. But earlier today, there was a call of hope that was very distinctive and went through downtown St. Louis.
The battle cry for the Battlehawks on Sunday as more than 30,000 fans assembled for the XFL Championship game, marking for Mark Corver his 40th birthday.
We got the challenge of a lifetime. Go to the UFL Championship. AJ all day. Hakeem the laser beam. We got to get this done.
Getting it done was harder than it looked, though, as Hakeem the laser beam Butler couldn't get the call for this corner touchdown in the second quarter, trying to get the Battlehawks on the board. So they'd settle for a 46-yard kick to chase the San Antonio Brahmas' quick and continuous lead. Butler heading into this game, leading the league with 45 catches for 652 yards.
It's Butler every day of the week. Hakeem Butler, he needs to get back in the NFL. Boy needs another chance.
Being named Friday as the UFL Offensive Player of the Year, Butler a season-long magnet for former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback A.J. McCarron.
McCarron, they're all great players, but you know what? We got the world's greatest manager in Anthony Beck, and he is the man. As he signed my helmet, he is the man.
Tony Russberg is just one of many season ticket holders here for one big reason.
It's the fans. These are all ex-Ram fans, and listen, this is the greatest thing in the world for St. Louis, is to bring all these fans back to the Dome and fill the Dome up and support the XFL St. Louis Battlehawks.
Definitely good for St. Louis. They counted us out as football fans here in St. Louis.
Plus supporting our city as we host the UFL Championship at the Dome at America Center next Sunday.
Butler, McCarron, and their Battlehawks will get another chance, but after tonight's heartbreaking loss by 10 points, that likely won't be until March of 2025, rather than next Sunday, right here for the UFL Championship game. Reporting live in St. Louis, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
Coming up, he's not just cleaning hallways, he's paving the way to brighter futures.
There's nothing better than pouring into the life of our future and changing the trajectory of their mindset.
The custodian who's giving high school seniors a head start as they head to college.
Cooler overnight lows, comfortable humidity levels for a few days, and then the heat makes a comeback. I'll have the numbers.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
Now to a reminder that you don't need a high-paying job or a fancy title to make a profound impact on the lives of others. In tonight's Making a Difference report, the school custodian who is helping to clean up obstacles that stand between students and their dreams.
for just a wonderful year of service unto St. Louis Public Schools.
In a room filled with hopeful faces, an unlikely hero was about to work his magic.
I want to say this to you.
Not with a wand or a spell, but with a mop and a heart of gold.
Okay.
Meet George Love, the custodian at Walbridge Elementary in the St. Louis School District. He cleans the hallways and clears the way for students to see a brighter future.
I feel the pulse beat of these kids, you know, when they walk through the school. Y'all been good to your teachers?
In 2017, while earning less than $12 an hour,
Eating up all your food.
his faith handed him a new master key
Fist bump.
to unlock the potential of the students he saw every day.
Hello, kids. How y'all doing?
He says God told him to make a difference for those kids.
My wife asked me, she said, well, what do you mean you heard God? And I said, I heard him distinctly, audibly speak to me. Audibly? You gotta be kidding me, George.
How do the kids react to you knowing?
Despite having a leaky roof and overdue bills, George set out to turn his modest means into life-changing opportunities. By moonlighting as a Lyft driver, he began funding $500 college scholarships, enough for a senior to buy a new laptop. It was during one of these Lyft rides that fate introduced him to Taj Marie Lane.
He was telling me about his program and how I should look at it, look into it.
This will make 107 scholarships.
4 years ago, Taj Marie lost her North Star when her grandfather passed away.
So we reach out.
But she says in George, she found a new guiding light.
Now that he's gone, I'm glad I have another person that can look out for me. Even though he doesn't know me, he's looking out for me, and that's a big thing for me, because not too many people would do that.
Next we have Joshawn Owens.
Since he started his scholarship program 7 years ago, George Love has swept 107 students onto a path paved with possibilities. These aren't the straight A students with other scholarships, but students who work hard, like Taj Marie.
There's nothing better than pouring into the life of our future and changing the trajectory of their mindset and letting them see that where they at isn't always where it's gonna be.
For George Love, being a custodian isn't just about keeping a school clean.
We have Jamon Ineska.
It's about scrubbing out the challenges that stand in the way of students' dreams.
I don't know where it's going, but I just want to stay focused and know that I dedicate my life to doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our 2024 scholars, and we've done that this year.
Ensuring that every student has a chance to shine brighter than they ever thought possible.
With help from donations, George eventually hopes to expand his scholarship program to other cities, and he even gave out some scholarships in Seattle, where he used to live. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Well, tonight is clear, and if you're lucky, you may see a constellation normally seen in the fall. According to the St. Louis Science Center, Cassiopeia is going to be visible low in the north. It looks like a large W in the sky. Stargazers can spot her around 11:30 tonight, hopefully away from city lights. Meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with the Weather First forecast, and I know later this week, Jim, we're having a heat wave.
Yeah, you know, we're going to start in those 90s Wednesday and then stay there, in fact, for the foreseeable future. I don't see any big downturns of cool weather once we get into that heat. But yes, tonight it is clear and really comfortable to check out Cassiopeia. 50s for overnight lows in most areas, but the city about 60. And right now from the Science Center to downtown St. Louis, Moscow Mills, Cuba, Farmington, and even Highland, Illinois, it is clear. So temperatures at the moment, very comfortable. You notice that humidity's not too high. It goes up a little bit at night. Temperatures are in the 60s. Overnight lows again, most of us in the 50s. Sullivan 55, Chesterfield 55, Edwardsville at about 56. So mid 50s, enjoy that while it lasts. Now the high today was a little bit below average. Average is 84. 81 today, and then 66 the average, 64 this morning. Well, we'll get cooler than that tonight. And then a reinforcing shot of that really nice, comfortable air, lower dew points and humidity coming our way tomorrow with that cold front around Chicago. It might bring in a little extra cloud cover, so we'll see sunshine and then partly sunny, then back to clear as we get into tomorrow night. Highs tomorrow, the coolest day of the week, about 78. And that dew point temperature, it's just the measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. The higher it is, the more moisture there is. 52, that's comfortable. We were at 70 yesterday, and Chicago's at 51, but we have some 40s. Even Des Moines is at about 40-degree dew point, so really comfortable there. And tomorrow, same here. We're going to see some really dry air, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. It feels good, and we're in the 70s. Then we get into the 80s Tuesday. That's not too bad. Still a really nice day and a cool start in the 50s. Then that jet stream, it's up there around the U.S.-Canadian border. So Wednesday, low 90s, and then we're already in the mid-90s as we get into Thursday and for the weekend coming up. There might be another front on Friday morning. It really doesn't do too much to our weather at all, and it doesn't cool us off for sure, but maybe a 20% chance of a morning shower or storm on Friday morning. Otherwise, Saturday, 94, that's next weekend, 96 Sunday, 96 on Monday. So it's really humid and hot as we get in about a week from tomorrow. We're back in that really humid air.
Hi there, Paul Cook here. I'm your traffic guy on Today in St. Louis each morning, and it's time for On the Move. I always want to respond to your feedback about driving in St. Louis, and it's a big part of my mission to answer your questions about the roads and traffic that you're concerned about. 5 on Your Side viewer Steve Long reached out to me and said the entrance ramps from Big Bend Road to I-44 in the Kirkwood area are an issue. I cross this overpass daily, and the small signage frequently causes traffic congestion and problems for the other drivers on the overpass. So I asked MoDOT about your concerns, Steve. MoDOT said we passed the concern about the signage at the Big Bend crossing in the Kirkwood area to our traffic team to investigate and see what may be able to be done. They said they welcome all customers' concerns and urge drivers to call 1-888-ASK-MoDOT. You can share issues with a live person around the clock. It's also important to note, no matter what sign confusion there may be, sudden lane changing is always a problematic driving strategy. Some of you have also reached out about drivers at I-44 and Laclede Station Road in Shrewsbury. I guess some drivers are using that shoulder as an impromptu overflow lane. Be aware, MoDOT has alerted law enforcement about this. It's going to be a busy summer on the roads. Be careful and try kindness. Paul Cook, 5 on Your Side.
Coming up, the daring and violent surprise that freed 4 Israeli hostages in Gaza, the reaction from those whose loved ones still are held captive. Tonight, more than 240 days later, a handful of Israeli hostages are home safe. In a surprise daylight raid on central Gaza, Israeli forces rescued 4 hostages held by Hamas since October 7th. According to Israel officials, all seem to be in decent health, at least physically. More than 100 hostages are still being held in Gaza, and dozens are believed to be dead. Some family members of those hostages are hoping a ceasefire will help bring their loved ones home.
We don't see how we're going to get all of them back home by military operations. And that is why we are hoping that this operation will help drive the hostage deal forward.
As some are reunited with their loved ones in Israel, many lost theirs in Gaza. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, about 150 people, including children, were killed in yesterday's raid as Israeli airstrikes covered the rescue operation's retreat.
A crazy bombardment started hitting everywhere, something we never witnessed before. Maybe 150 rockets fell in less than 10 minutes. While we were running away, more fell on the market.
Israeli officials say while the rescue operation was a success, a deal needs to be made to bring the rest of the hostages home. U.S. officials say America did not participate militarily in the rescue. Former President Donald Trump is expected to appear before a probation officer tomorrow morning. This comes after Mr. Trump's conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records tied to hush money. The probation interview is required by the court as part of the former president's pre-sentencing report. He could face probation or up to 4 years in prison. Trump's defense team is scheduled to submit their sentencing recommendation on Thursday. Sentencing is set for July 11th. Since former President Trump's conviction, his attorney, Will Scharf, outlined his plans to run for state office right here in Missouri. He's gunning to be Missouri's attorney general in the Republican primary. Scharf joins political editor Mark Maxwell on this week's episode of The Record to talk about his plans and Trump's conviction. He says he is confident the former president will win on appeal.
I think, first of all, it's important to note that this is a case about business records. Signing an NDA is not a crime. Making payments in furtherance of an NDA is not a crime. This is about business records, entries made in President Trump's personal ledger in 2017 that reflected payments made to President Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, as legal payments.
You can catch the full conversation with Will Scharf on The Record tonight after Sports Plus. The Cardinals are partnering with the American Red Cross for the 21st annual Cardinals Blood Drive, and their goal, 1,000 units of life-saving blood. The drive will last tomorrow through June 13th at 22 locations, including Busch Stadium. Donors are encouraged to make appointments online. Stadium slots are expected to fill up quickly, and as a little treat, anyone who participates will get a free Cards t-shirt while supplies last. And Jim Castillo has one last look at our weather forecast. It's going to be comfortable tomorrow, Jim.
It is. You know, there's the overnight lows tonight in the 50s to around 60, and then tomorrow night, our coolest night into Tuesday morning. And the daytime high tomorrow about 78. Beautiful day Tuesday, 82, and really comfortable humidity levels. And then the humidity is not too bad on Wednesday, but highs about 91, and then we stay in the 90s.
And there you have it, 5 on your side at 10. Don't forget to kick off your morning with Today in St. Louis. That starts at 4 a.m. And up next, Sports Plus.